Thank you for tuning in and welcome back. Today's topic is going to be about knee injuries and specifically the ACL. I recently have had an athlete ask me, what is the ACL? Why is it so important in sports and life? And also, why does it take me so long, or why does it take someone so long to return to play or return to function at a high level when it's injured? So we're going to get into all of that. So stay tuned. All right, so first off, how professional was that? These videos are getting legit. As you can see, I film these videos pretty much in between short bursts of free time. So raining outside right now, just got a couple minutes before a field hockey game that I'm covering. But for the first question, that the athlete asked was, what is the ACL? So the ACL, or the anterior cruciate ligament, is a ligament within the knee. Its primary responsibility is to prevent anterior translation or forward motion of the tibia or shin bone. And it also acts as like a rotational stabilizer of the tibia and or femur, depending on which end is fixed. I put together a little drawing here in regards to what we're dealing with. So you can see the red structure there is the ACL. The blue circular structures are the meniscus, and the other blue structure that's going diagonally from the tibia to the femur is the PCL, or posterior cruciate ligament. So important anatomical point would be they make an X, okay, inside the knee. And that combination of the ACL and the PCL provide really good stability, internal stability for the joint. So one part of the next answer is, when that's compromised, you lose the rotational stability of the knee. So that's the pivoting, the shifting, the cutting aspect of when you're for sports function. So this really isn't going to get into any of the muscles or the other structures such as the meniscus or the joint capsule itself. This is going to be stick strictly to the ACL. So why then is the ACL so important? As we previously discussed, the anatomical reasons, that X, right? The internal stability, the rotational prevention or the anti-rotation aspect of it, that's what differentiates it from other ligaments. So we have, if it was just strictly the anterior translation or the forward movement of the shin bone, we have some dynamic stabilizers like the hamstrings that can kind of come into play and help out with that. But the rotational aspect internally, we can't mimic or recreate. So that's why in almost any sport, if you're a high functioning athlete, whether it's non-contact like tennis, gymnastics, volleyball, you still feel the detriment of having no ACL, or even collision in contact sports like football and lacrosse and hockey and stuff. So that's why the difference between athletes and everyday people, athletes need that rotational stability, whereas a non-athlete, can get by without an ACL because our dynamic stabilizers around the knee do pretty well in things like maybe hiking or walking or even biking, going to the gym and lifting, just regular fitness. You're still able to do very well because there's no demand for planting, cutting, and force translation like that. So that's one reason, or kind of a main theme of why the ACL, what makes the ACL so important to athletes. And kind of the third question then, of why does it take so long for me to return to play post-op, right? Post-operation, because an ACL tear or an ACL rupture is just that, right? As of right now, we have a lot of research out there that's trying to find ways to repair the ACL. But as of right now, it is an ACL reconstruction. So if you disrupt that ACL, your anatomical one, you undergo an ACL reconstruction, meaning something different is being put in the place of that ACL. There's patella tendon grafts, there's anterior tibialis, hamstring grafts. They still do some cadaver stuff. But a lot of the focus and attention is going towards trying to repair your own ACL. But right now, we're not 100% there in terms of efficacy and results. So when we put a different structure, we'll say the patellar tendon in place of your ligament, there is something known as ligamentization that has to take place in order for it to become your own ligament and your body to recognize it as that internal stabilizer. And that takes about 9 months. So the recovery for an ACL post-op is 9 to 12 months. And that can seem like a long time, especially for athletes, because a lot of our return to play decisions are based off of the season, just basically breaking into off season and in season. That if we get an injury in season, most often their return to play is for the following season, but it's really when we get the off-season injuries that then affect the in-season play, where we see a lot of some athletes come back with notes that are sooner than the 9 to 12 months, and we kind of have to then, as healthcare providers, educate the athlete for self-advocation, and even just realizing that unless it has undergone ligamentization, that tissue is somewhat compromised or somewhat more likely for a reoccurrent tear, which does happen, can happen, and is never an easy discussion, especially when that athlete knows the feeling of an ACL tear or a knee buckling, and they have a pretty good idea of what's happened to them, and it's a difficult conversation. So there you go. What an ACL is, why it's so important, and why it takes so long to return to a high function for athletes if and when you've undergone an ACL injury. So that was a little bit longer video, but hopefully it's a little bit different style. It goes a little bit more in depth. I've actually had some pretty good responses on future topics on what people want to hear, so I've got a list going of some upcoming videos. And hopefully, if you're interested in these, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the videos. Definitely comment. I'll try and get back to them, all of them if I can. And we'll go from there. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one.